Hey everyone, welcome back to another Rebor review. Today we'll be taking a look at their Titanoboa cerrejonensis Monty. I'm so happy to finally have this long-awaited, highly anticipated figure in hand. This figure was initially teased back in early 2017, so it's been over 3 years of waiting for this figure to come out, and I'm so happy I finally have it in hand. I got this figure in yesterday afternoon and I have not put it down since then. I've had so much fun messing around with this thing. Just the posability is fantastic. I mean, it's a giant rubber snake, so of course it has like infinite posability, but it just is so cool looking. I love the detail on this thing. I'm just so happy Rebor found a way to release this figure. Now, normally when I start off these reviews, I usually list where I got this figure from and where you can get this figure, but unfortunately, this figure is completely sold out everywhere. Rebor only did one run of this figure, and the reason for that is the way this figure is produced, it is very expensive. I guess it's the type of rubber that they use, and they really couldn't make a profit if they mass produced this figure. So they did a very limited run. If you actually look in the background right here, it says premium edition, not limited edition. They just did one run of this figure, and once the pre-orders went up and sold out, that was it. There's really no other way to get your hands on this figure, which is unfortunate because it's such a cool figure. But I am happy that Rebor found a way to at least get one run of this figure out into the public, because I know a lot of people, including myself, were looking forward to this figure. This figure went up for pre-order on Big Bad Toy Store and Everything Dinosaur, and those pre-orders sold out really, really quick. I ended up getting mine through Everything Dinosaur. I love dealing with them. I've never had a problem with them. Their shipment and packaging is absolutely fantastic. This figure cost me around $50, and yeah, it's definitely worth it for that price. But if you head over onto eBay, you'll see that the very few Monty figures available on there are going for ridiculously high prices. I checked a few completed auctions, and this figure is going for close to $200 now, which shows that a lot of people really, really want this figure. Now, the other day, Everything Dinosaur did post some of their leftover stock. I guess it's from canceled pre-orders or people that didn't pay. They posted some on their eBay UK store for regular retail price. Those sold out very quickly. I'm not sure if they have any left, but I'm going to leave a link in the description to Everything Dinosaur's eBay store. So keep checking. Maybe a couple more will pop up and you'll get lucky and you'll be able to get your hands on this figure for retail. If not, that's pretty much it. It's just these insane scalper prices you have to pay now to get your hands on this figure. So maybe someday in the future, because the demand is so high for this figure, maybe Rebor will do another limited edition run, maybe in a different color scheme. So before we take a closer look at this amazing figure, let's just go over the packaging really quick. It comes in the standard Rebor style packaging. It comes in that nice black box. You got a nice black and white silhouette of Monty on the front, and if you get the joke, congratulations, you are getting old like me. And turn around, there's nothing on the back except a tribute to all the hardships and struggles we have faced. This, if you follow their Facebook page, this figure was a pain in the butt for them to make. And then inside the box, you get a nice little info card with some info about Titanoboa. So you get a nice picture of the fossil vertebrae of this animal. I believe they were found in a coal mine in Colombia. So that's about it for the packaging. Let's move on and take a look at this figure. So moving on to the figure, this is just such a cool looking figure. Rebor did an absolutely fantastic job with this. I love all the scale detail. It's made out of this soft rubber material. It just feels absolutely fantastic in hand. Now you get one other figure in here, this little display right here. This actually comes with the Rebor Dilophosaurs, and I just use it because this figure looks really, really nice on this base. I like how Rebor does some really nice bases. You can kind of mix and match them around and get some cool diorama scenes. So I'm going to remove the crocodile accessory for the time being and to stretch this figure out to give you an idea of how long this figure is. So here's Monty semi-stretched out. This is a very long figure. If you have it all curled up, it looks, kind of small. But when it's stretched out at its full length, this figure is just under 26 inches long. So Titanoboa is the largest snake species ever discovered. Its estimated length is around 42 feet long and weighed up to 2,500 pounds. So this figure being about 26 inches long, that puts this figure roughly in that 120 scale range. Titanoboa lived about 60 to 58 million years ago during the Paleocene era, which is the time period that immediately followed the end of the Cretaceous period. Paleontologists believe this snake was primarily a fish eater patrolling the swamps of this tropical environment, which is now present-day Colombia. So before we take a closer look at Monty, let's take a look at the accessory this figure came with. It came with this really nice looking crocodile victim. Now this figure is modeled after the present day Nile crocodile, and this little accessory is really well done. It's cast in hollow plastic. It feels like vinyl, has a little bit of give to it, but it has some really, really beautiful scale details and paint apps on here. It actually has a really nice clear coat over the top of it to give it that wet look, like this animal's just plucked from the waters, about to become a meal for the Titanoboa. Now let's just zoom in and take a look at the head. Really nice sculpted teeth. Just the scale work on here is absolutely gorgeous. The paint work is fantastic. Now I have one small issue with this accessory because this is based off a Nile crocodile, which is a present day animal. I kind of wish Rebor went and gave us a prehistoric crocodile, preferably Tsuchus, which was an actual crocodile species that lived alongside Titanoboa. I believe the bones of that crocodile also found in the same coal mines as Titanoboa. So I just think it's a slightly missed opportunity that we could have gotten two Paleocene animals in the same packaging, but this, crocodile victim accessory does really work well when posing it with this figure. But I still would prefer if this was based off an extinct animal instead of a present day one, even though it's absolutely fantastic looking. And I love how the arms and legs are pressed against the side of the body, because snakes usually swallow their prey head first to fold the arms along the body to make swallowing much easier, and it just looks absolutely great. They did, for just a random accessory, Rebor put a lot of work into this thing, and this thing is just so cool looking. Now moving on to Monty, this is a beautifully painted and detailed figure. Rebor really went all out on this figure. The paint scheme on this figure is very similar to the current present day green anaconda. Both these animals lived in pretty much the same area and the same environment, so it was pretty much an easy choice to go with this color scheme. And let's zoom in and get a look at that beautifully sculpted head. Now this figure does have jaw articulation. The whole body is articulation, because there is a wire running from right behind the head all the way down to almost the tip of the tail, so the mouth can close pretty much flush. Now you notice on mine right here, a little chunk of rubber is missing. It exposes the gums inside. Now normally that would bother me, but it almost looks like some kind of a wound that has healed up on this animal after it tangled with one of the local crocodilians. So that really doesn't bother me too much. But you can see right here, you can see where the line is for the jaw. The jaw is cast in hard plastic. You got some really nice paint detail underneath there, and the color does match up really well with the rest of the figure, so you don't have to worry about the jaw being a different shade from the underbelly of this animal. And then opening up that mouth, you get some really nice mouth detail in here. Let me just angle my light down. You can see the teeth are all sculpted, and you got that double row of top teeth to help them hold on to their slippery prey. And then right here you have the extended windpipe, which what this animal would use to help breathe while it was swallowing its victim whole. Then moving up to the eye, you can see the eye is painted in gold, which is pretty much a Rebor signature at this point. You got some really nice painted in shades of green and black pattern all the way down from the tip of the snout of this figure all the way down to the tip of the tail. Just all that scale detail looks absolutely fantastic. The paint job on this figure is just out of this world. It just looks so natural and real. And when I got this figure in yesterday, I wrapped it around my hand and I was holding it like I captured a snake to show my wife, and she's pretty pissed at me for that right now. So might be sleeping on the couch. So thanks, Monty. Let's just go all the way down the body and look at that scale detail. Up close, this looks like a real snake. You even have the indentation along the vertebrae column all the way down the body right here. Just absolutely so well done. And let me just unstretch this. Along the bottom right here, you got some nicely sculpted belly scales. Yeah, you do have a couple holes. That's for the molding process of this rubber material. And the rubber material on here is really soft. It feels really great in hand. It feels very durable, but there's 2 points I'd like to warn people against if you're going to pose this figure. Right here, when you're moving the head, if you have your thumb right here, you can feel the start of the metal wire. It's right underneath the surface right here. So if you start bending around here, you're going to cause a lot of force and cause that wire to poke through. And same thing at the end of the tail right here. You can see the end of the tail is very flexible, and right where it stops is where the wire stops. And same thing with the wire, because the end of the tail is so thin. If you start, messing around with the wire at the very end right here, you're going to cause that wire to poke through one of the sides of this tail. So definitely you want to stop posing probably just behind the wire. You don't want to put any pressure on here, because that will wear this soft rubber material very quickly. And it is pretty easy to pose this figure. I mean, like I said, it is extremely, extremely flexible. You just have to play around with it. Like, it does want to kind of flip over and show you its stomach when you're posing it around. But if you spend some time with it, you can move the rubber around on that wire to get more natural like poses. And the figure, once you have it semi-stretched out, does wrap around real nicely around this crocodile victim. Absolutely fantastic, well thought out accessory from Rebor. You just contour so nicely around its victim right here, and it just looks absolutely fantastic, crushing the life out of this poor little crocodile. All right, let's move on with some comparisons with some other products from Rebor. First up is their Dilophosaurus, and these two figures look really nice next to each other. And like I said at the beginning of the video, I absolutely love the base that comes with the Dilophosaurus pair. I think it makes an excellent, excellent display base for this figure. And next up is their Ceratosaurus, which is one of their older figures, but it's still one of my favorites dinosaur figures that they've ever done. And next up is their Stegosaurus, another fantastic dinosaur figure from them. And lastly, here it is with their Killer Queen, the plain variant. You can see, this snake figure is definitely a sizable figure from them. So final thoughts on Rebor's Titanoboa. I am absolutely in love with this figure. Yes, a lot of people saying, oh, it's just a rubber snake toy. It's just a rubber snake toy. But it's an awesome rubber snake toy. I absolutely love this thing. I cannot take my hands off it. Love messing around and playing with it. It just photographs so nicely because of all that beautiful paintwork and scale detail. And I love the mouth detail on this thing. It's just a really, really well done piece from Rebor. And like I said at the beginning of the video, if you did not get your hands on this figure through pre-orders, you're pretty much out of luck unless you pay those crazy, crazy eBay prices. And for those of you that have this figure, I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. This is truly a fantastic product from Rebor. I love their products, and they're always doing something a little bit different than everybody else. Yeah, it takes some time, but man, that wait is worth it. So that will pretty much do it for the review. I have some new stuff that I've gotten in from PNSO that just keeps getting delayed because I keep getting all this new, stuff in from Mattel and Rebor. So I'll be getting to those two figures soon. And I got some stuff that Collect A is supposed to be sending me. Hopefully it's the rest of the new figures of their 2020 lineup. So be on the lookout for reviews of all those figures in the near future. And as always, if you're enjoying the content on this channel, show your support by hitting that subscription button just below the video. Each subscription helps out the channel tremendously and is greatly appreciated. And I'll see you for the next one.